another edition of Round One Sports TV. Uh, just wanted to come on real quick, not expecting to get the room filled or anything like that. I just wanted to make a real quick video and touch upon a couple things that's occurring in boxing right now, right? So it's being reported right now. It's going around that Tank Davis right now is in fact going to fight his next opponent. It's going to be Frank the Ghost Martin. Now that is something I touched on previous videos, and I said that yeah, Frank the Ghost Martin would be a good opponent, and this also will, I guess, in a certain way, will silence some kind of doubt that they have or whatever they're saying about Tank Davis not fighting Black American fighters, which is a lie. Okay, Tank Davis is a fighter. He's not scared to fight anyone. It just seems like the fights that he made and the people that were there, or whatever the situation was, those were the people he chose to fight. I'm pretty sure Tank Davis would fight anyone, right? But listen, Ghost Frank the Ghost Martin is a worthy opponent. He's proven, over that impressive victory over Ali Rivera. I thought that that was a good victory. It showed that he can box and he will exchange with you. He looks like a very strong specimen, of a man. He's just what you would think a boxer should look like. Sometimes a lot of muscle is not good for you, but I think, naturally he's like that. He has that kind of physique naturally. So this is gonna it. There's no official date on the fight when Tank Davis and Frank Martin, and I gotta say this right now though. Even though I'm hearing that that is going to be his next opponent, um, Tank Davis is a mega superstar, and his fights and his opponents are subject to change at that level in the game. If another opportunity or these Saudis start really talking crazy and they want to see a certain kind of fight, well, maybe they can make it happen. So time will tell. Another interesting thing that's going on in boxing is another situation I was talking about fighters taking divisions hostage, such as Canelo Alvarez, and holding up this 168-pound division, right? Look what's going on now. It's being rumored that David, the monster Benavidez, is going to move up to 175. He's tired of waiting for Canelo. Now, by doing this, technically, it lets Canelo off the hook. All this waiting in line to fight for what was initially his title. You got to keep it in mind that that 168-pound belt was David the Monster Benavidez's belt. He lost it twice. One time for recreational use outside of the sport, and another time he missed weight. Right? Okay. So um, that was his belt. The WBC, he was like, "Yo, I want to shot back at my belt." Here we are. What is it? What are we in now? 5 years? 5 years, something like that. He's been the number one ranked opponent, put in the paperwork year after year, trying to put pressure on Canelo. It's just not going to happen. Now look what he's doing. He's going and moving up in weight. Now, by him doing that, later when they say to Canelo, "Hey, would you fight him at 175?" He's gonna say no because I already tried to do that, and it would they're just too big for me. And do you believe that if David Benavidez moves up to 175, he'll come back down to 168? He loses his place in line. He's not you okay. You have to understand that when you don't have a belt, you're in a ranking system. If you move up or go down or do something, well, technically you're out of that ranking system. And you're telling them that you're not going to pay any sanctioning fees into their system when you're moving up. So that messes with things because I believe David the Monster Benavidez should have been a great champion at the 168-pound division. And he could have stand to unify all four belts at this point in time. So by him, you're also stealing other fighters' opportunities and the right for them to write their own legacy as a fighter. He's just holding up the division for ransom. This is not, I don't know, man. For as much as I could sit here and say, you know, I would like to see the fight, it's just not going to happen. And I think that at this point, this is probably the best decision David the Monster. Look, once Bivol and Arthur fight for all the belts, David the Monster Benavidez can move in and play spoiler. He can fight one person for all four belts and achieve his dream. That's probably what him and his dad got their sights on. They're like, wait a minute, we're not going to get Canelo. It's been 5 years. He's just not going to fight you, son. Let's move up. And with your name and the WBC still has your back, you're like their second man. But in a new weight division, they can ching ching. The WBC be like, wait a minute. We all fight whoever wins the four belts there. So whoever wins out of Arthur and Demetrius Bivol, I can see where in that right there, David the Monster can come in, right? Fight Amnesian or, to keep active, okay? And then fight the winner out of them. And then in one fight, he can achieve all four belts. And all that waiting for Canelo, he can get it in one night. Now, if all the stars line up, let's just not get excited because one, you would have to get them to agree to the fight. Or somehow you would have to convince them that David Benavidez moving up to 175 that was never ranked is their mandatory. He doesn't have the WBO. He would have to fight technically the real way. He would have to make up his ranking and move his way up the ladder, which would be shortly. It would only be 2 to 3 fights, technically. And with those performances, they can rank them. But having no fights in the division, you're technically not ranked at 175. You would need them to agree to the fight. And will they agree to the fight? I think Arthur will. I think Demetrius Bivol will too. Maybe not Demetrius Bivol. He's been a little, he looked like with that performance against Canelo, and he was on a real high, but he looked a little shaky. So I'm not sure about him, but Arthur's a dog. That man will fight a grizzly bear outside. He'd be like, yo, he got the belt. Arthur's outside, like, let me get that. You know what I mean? Yo, nah, that man he's built like that. I believe so. I mean, I just gotta see it in Bivol. I gotta see him really being that knockdown, drag out fight. That last fight he had, that kid shocked him in the round and stunned him. He was a little embarrassed and he couldn't knock him out. So I was like, he had little Canelo Alvarez's ass figured out. And let's just be honest. Demetrius Bivol was the bigger man out of Canelo Alvarez and him. Canelo Alvarez was moving up. So he was fighting the literal guy. So if he shined on a smaller guy. Might have been a skilled guy and a very popular man in Canelo Alvarez, but he still was the literal man. So when you're giving him props like that, he didn't fight anybody his size. He didn't, pick on somebody your own size in your own weight division. He didn't do that. So when it comes to people in his weight division, that's why I say, what if he is successful to beat Arthur Benavidez and he pulls the upset? Would he fight David the Monster? Would he fight him? That I don't know. Now that I don't know. So, and this is going to answer a lot of questions for me, for Tank Davis. Uh, and I wanted to see him back in the ring, and I'm happy that he's, I don't know when, that. And there's a rumor right now going around that, and it's been announced that, that David the Monster Benavidez does have a fight scheduled for May, right? And from what I'm hearing is against Evanesian, right? So um he could fall in line. I mean, it'll be a little bit off. The winner of Arthur and Demetrius Bivol, the time frame, that's what I'm thinking about. How many months in between their fights and how far off they would be. That's all I'm kind of like thinking about to see if it's a real possibility that they would fight. Or is he just chasing his tail again, going into a new division, and nobody just wants to fight this kid, David the Monster Benavidez, and everybody's going to avoid him no matter what division he's going into. Sometime in boxing, it sucks that you're a little too good, And there's even rumors right now that Terrence Crawford just might shut up a lot of people in the world, including myself, right? I don't know if this is a hoax or people are clout chasing or just trolling, like when Tank Davis was trolling Connor Ben. And I try to tell you guys, come on, guys, that's just him trolling him, fucking with him. And Eddie Hearn was actually trying to build clout off for his fighter off of Tank Davis's name by saying, I made them two legitimate offers. Yo, Eddie Hearn, you might pull that off to the casual fan, but Tank Davis is the A side. How the fuck did you just send him two offers to the A side? Bro, I'm not stupid. Maybe people might be like, ooh, he sent the two offers. Bro, those are dead offers. Tank Davis is the A side. He has to send you an offer. So don't try to get clout off of Tank Davis's name. You see how Tank Davis allowed this kind of shit to happen when all he was doing was trolling Conor Ben. I'm sitting here laughing like fucking Tank Davis, bro. And these people fucked around and took that shit serious. Well, some people. The other people, we saw through that shit. We knew what Tank Davis does. He's always done this type shit. He did it to Devin Haney. He does it to Floyd. You know who Tank is. He like to little Twitter fingers sometimes, but don't be confused of the fighter that he is. And coming into a fight like this with Frank the Ghost Martin, now that would be a really good fight. I think that Frank the Ghost Martin is a game opponent. He's skilled. And then, like, on other channels, they're saying the same thing about Frank, that he's been training in the gym for quite some time, like killing himself. And that seems to be recurring theme right now, like more than one person. And I don't know if these people are being paid to say that or if they got ties with boxers, but it seems like, on the low, they know. All they're doing is working out the final details before the major announcement, which would be probably the purses, the locations, the time frame, when both fighters could be ready. But I believe both fighters know who's on their radar and who they're preparing for. So I believe so anyway. What's up, guys? What's up, Larry? What's up? All right. Hey, fights. All right, let me back up a little bit. Here. I gotta read this. I think Canelo versus Munguia is next. That would be a beautiful fight right there. That would be a great fight. Munguia being a former world champion. Uh, he's one of the men that I believe that has earned his shot. But let's be honest, David the Monster Benavidez is first in line. He's actually been in the division that was his belt at once upon a time. No one beat him for the belt. He got stripped of it. He had the right to go back after his belt. Munguia is entering the division. He's never been ranked in the division. So technically, Munguia would be jumping in line. and the views of what's going on in the real boxing gyms in the world at their job. You could sit back at home and say, hey, I wouldn't mind either fight, and it doesn't bother you. But them at their work, that's like you being at your job and you busting your ass every day and the new guy gets the promotion. How you feel about that? Right? That's bullshit. David Benavidez has been in the division, knocking dudes out, doing whatever they told him, getting these interim little belts, upgrading the interim belt, fighting the fucking what do they call it? The title eliminator fight. The next person. How many title eliminator fights has David the Monster Benavidez fought? And they still haven't given him a shot. So when you say, yeah, I would like to see Munguia, I get it. It would be a good, but he doesn't earn. He shouldn't be the next person in line. He's not worth. He didn't earn that shot. If they were to give it to him, why do you think they would give it to him? Same reason I think. Even though Munguia highly talented, you could fight his ego. He'll make a lot of still young mistakes. Canelo Alvarez is a sniper. He hits really hard. He'll have that kid in all kinds of trouble. For as gifted and talented Munguia is, he's going to want to bang with you, and I think that will be his mistake. Canelo and them know it. Munguia's, he has a lot of work to go. Do I think he's, you know, a world-class championship elite fighter? I don't think he's on that level. Do I think Canelo is? Yes. That's why he's there. He might be a little fucking cherry picking in this part of his career, but he's got 60 fights. He's been in there with everybody. So, and he just did it young. He did it young. So he was great then, like that. And for whatever step you say he lost in experience with all the fights he's had, Canelo's a dog. He's a dangerous dog, and you got to watch out for a man like that. He didn't land those shots on these men because of the fact that those guys are on that level. And it's not going to be as easy to land those kind of knockouts like he used to against these other non-level. And that's what he wants. Canelo's been searching for that right cherry to get the knockout, and he just can't fucking get it. These cherries they've been picking for him have not been cherries. He's like, what the fuck, man? I want a knockout, right? So, and then it's reported that one of the Charlo twins, the older one, he tweeted on Twitter, May 4th, let's go. You got to fight on May 4th. Isn't that the day that Canelo Alvarez fights? May 4th? On my Mexican holiday? Who are you fighting on May 4th? What do you know that we don't know? Are you serious, Canelo? You're going to really take and fight this man that the entire world knows that there's something mentally going on, or he's not himself. And you mean to tell me that you couldn't sell out fighting the little brother? Canelo Alvarez's fight did not sell out. Okay? There was a whole part back section that was empty. The only thing that they had with the camera on was the front section. That fight did not sell out. So you didn't sell out with the first brother. You mean to tell me that you're willing to fight the second brother that everybody knows his situation, what he's been going through? Who's he fighting on May 4th? Right? So, and then there was another card that it's kind of, which I mentioned, David the Monster Benavidez, right? Okay. And on that card, it's rumored that Demetrius Andrade is supposed to be fighting on the undercard. That's right. He's supposed to be making his ring return on the undercard of David Benavidez. And all these fighters are starting to like move around and alter their career basically because of one fighter, Canelo Alvarez. Because this is all going to the point where that, look, I said this. This is what I said. I said, yo, Canelo, bro, If you're in the situation where you just want your fans to embrace you, they will. Canelo, even if you didn't have one belt around your waist, your fans would support you for the rest of the end of your career. What you're trying to do at the tail end, you're deserving of such. And there's a way you can still be like presented as a champion. Vacate the real belts, keep the literal, the ringside, and have them franchise the WBC. You'll get the WBC franchise belt with the literal in the ring. That's 3 belts. You still be promoted as a champion, relinquish the belts, and then let the young boys fight it out, Canelo. Ride out the rest of your careers, and your fans will support you. And take those fights you need. That's it. But if you're going to be beating your chest saying that you're the top gorilla and that nobody beats this form, wait. Now, you got to back up those words. And the way you back up those words is how you back up the words. You take out everybody at the top that's coming for the throne. Anybody listen, if you are a real king, a king accepts all challenges, all worthy opponents. If you're a top coming for the crown, I accept. Now you got to be worthy. And I'm not saying anybody in the back in 15, 30 raising their hand. Nah. I'm talking about worthy. That's where we're talking, right? If you're a king. So if he's going to be telling the fans this, well, then look, Terrence Crawford, like I spoke about it, right? Is it true? Could it be happening? Is he really going to fight Jerron Boots Ennis? Did Steven Espinoza just come on and criticize him for avoiding the fact that he's not doing the rematch with Errol Spence Jr. and that he wants to fight Jerron Boots Ennis? Is this true? Is this real? And could this be a possibility? Could Terrence Crawford say to everybody out there, wait a minute, I am the top dog? And in fact, even though Jerron Boots Ennis ticket sales, I'll help him with that. I'll sell the fight. But the one good thing he can get out of this is that he truly fought the top dog that everyone believes, including myself, is the next big thing in that weight division at the 147, Jerron Boots Ennis. And if Terrence Crawford answered that bell and he comes in and he fights, there will be no more said from me. He is fucking number one. That is it. That would be it. That would be done deal. I would be like, okay. There's nothing you could say. Considering the trail of bodies he left behind him with that at the tail end, come on, man. With the two that would be a done deal. Because depending on what weight division they fight in would also seal the deal for me. Okay, check this out, right? What if they fight at 147? That would be for their belts. It would be for Terrence Crawford's belt and the belt that they stripped him from Jerron Boots Ennis. Now, what are we talking? Is Jerron Boots Ennis going up in weight? Are they meeting at a catch weight? And then that would be for no belts. It would be basically him telling the young man, I'm going to teach you a boxing lesson. So he's still going to get the W, and the fight, a fight is a fight. Whether belts are on the line or not, we know who these top 2 dudes are. So them fighting at any weight, it seals it for me right there, right? So, but what's on the line and what you can bring to the table would add to the story. Not only would he be reclaiming his former belt, the IBF, if he's successful, Terrence Crawford, he also unifies again. So you have to give him that title again. He won't have all 4, but he'll have 3. And then he'll have to go after the other belt or whatever, because I believe he only has 2 right now. I got to check that out if that was official. or because I believe they did strip him of another belt. Okay, so you know that could it be true? Would he fight? Or are they just blowing smoke up our ass again, like they always do in boxing? Get us hyped up, find a storyline just to keep their fighter's name irrelevant, so that you don't forget, out of sight, out of mind. You know, so you always want to keep your fighter, and that's why I believe a lot of these fighters troll one another. And Teofimo Lopez trolling Terrence Crawford. Wait a week, 2 weeks, a month, that'll die down. But look at all the buzz and clicks and likes that man probably got from just putting his name in the same sentence. The fact that Terrence Crawford even showed up at his fight, that even put more fuel to it. Why? Media is always good. Exposure is always good. And Terrence Crawford was in a situation where he knew he was going to be active, not active. He was still working out the last thing if Errol Spence Jr. was really going to, and Terrence Crawford did a lot of bad moves in that situation. But hey, it is what it is. There's no going back now. Um, so let's see. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Terrence Crawford and this Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford and Jerron Booth and his fight is for real. Let's see if this is for real. You know, um, uh, but it was rumored to say that the reason why the fight wasn't really like happening, right? It was more of a financial situation between the promotional companies, and which promotional companies was going to put up the money for the fight, and how it was going to go down. So if the fight's going to happen, there's a big hurdle. There's a big hurdle. They're going to have to get them to, like, you know, I don't know how they're going to do it, but when you want to make a fight, you'll make the fight happen. So let's see what happens, because look, I know they're not both in the same place, but they're probably the two top guys now that Errol Spence Jr. has fallen. What's left, he is the guy. He's the guy. What do you want him to fight Ortiz? Like who else there? No, there's no. There's As skill wise, he's the guy. If he's going to move up, he would fight, which I think would be Tim Tszyu, Terrence Crawford. I believe he should fight Tim Tszyu if he moves up going that way and he doesn't take this fight right here. So we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell. But yes, that's basically what I wanted to let you guys know, that, look, like I said, Canelo's fucking with people's careers. Look, now David Benavidez is in a situation where now he's like, man, I'm gonna stop chasing you. And now I don't think, if he leaves the division, they'll probably never end up fighting, because Canelo Alvarez is going to use the excuse, I'm the 168-pound champion. He's in 175. Really? But you got no problem having a guy move up 3 divisions, Terrence Crawford, or fight the Charlo twin, or fight Demetrius Bivol. It's always going to be something with him when it comes to that man, David the Monster Benavidez. He obviously does not want to fight him. I believe he sees, his trainers see, the camp see, just stylistic wise, it's a bad matchup. And he doesn't want to take the risk. It's a high risk, low reward. When in actuality, David Benavidez brings no belts to the table because he's hogging them all. You know what I mean? And then we have Tank Davis. I want to see him back in the ring. Yeah. And when and if this fight gets announced, I'm gonna be pumped for it, because that's a game opponent right there. Frank Martin has earned his right. I believe so. Yeah, at that title, yeah. Yeah, he fought the fights, he won the fights he needed to win, and I believe he's next man up. There's a lot of other men there that are deserving, but you know, if it was Frank the Gold Martin, what I'm saying is, yeah, I can agree to that. And I would like to see that fight actually. So, yeah. So, and then Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, you know, we're going to see that fight too as well. Um, and then you got, don't forget about Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou out there in the desert going to slug it out. This Saturday we have some big fights coming up. We'll talk more about that. I just wanted to make a quick video on like some of the pieces that are moving around in boxing so that you're more aware if you have any questions on what direction your favorite fighter is going in. Just let me know in the comments. If you want to know anything about any of any other fighters, let me know. I'll look them up. Uh, uh, and everything still seems to be scheduled in Japan for the Japanese superstar and Luis Nares, Naoya Inoue. They're gonna go put it all on the line for 4 belts as well. You have Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall shooting back. That's gonna be an interesting fight as well. So there's a lot of fights. There's a lot of boxing coming our way. And let's see how this year kicks off. So, fight fans, like I said, let me check the video real quick and the messages. If you guys got anything, we'll chop it up right now. What's up? All right. That's crazy, buddy. Yeah. Whoa. That's a lot of messages right there. I'm going to stay on for a minute. I ain't going nowhere. I think we got a lot to talk about. What's up, Larry? You could say the same for David. What were you saying? He is a world champion. Maybe so, Larry, but has to fight someone with a name first. Yeah. Errol Spence Jr. was a crash victim. I would have picked Boots Ennis, but hmm. Ooh. Without loading his gloves. A lot of accusations being thrown around here. Oh man. Look, guys, each fighter was good in their own right. The fact that Errol Spence Jr. was exposed and his style was exposed so badly was due to a combination of a lot of things. And if we can all agree that he was coming off an 18-month layoff, right? Which was true. Ring rust was going to show its ugly face. And can we agree in the last 3 years previous to that, in 3 years, he only fought one time, Errol Spence Jr. These are facts. So leading into that fight, right, in 5 years, leading into that fight, he only fought twice. These are facts. He was so inactive that if you remember, leading into the fight, I made the video and I was noting this out so that the entire world and the public does not forget. I was on Boxing Record. I looked it up. It was there. I told all my viewers, don't forget this moment. While he was going into the Terrence Crawford fight, the ranking system had him an inactive fighter. He was not ranked. Although he was the current champion and the sanctioning bodies were working with him, he was going into that fight an inactive fighter. Yeah, you can go back and check my video. It's there. We got proof. I mean, the world knows this. They just don't want to accept it. They say, oh, inactive, but they're going judge off the man in the name he once was before the 2 accidents. They were judging him off the Errol Spence Jr. that fought Carol Brook. If the Errol Spence Jr. that fought Carol Brook showed up against Terrence Crawford, it would have been a much different fight. I'm not sure if the outcome would have been different, but I don't think Errol Spence Jr. would have took an ass whooping like that. Not the real Errol. Okay? Not that one that fought against Kell Brook. I think Terence Crawford might have won the fight though still. Because Terence Crawford showed he made the right reads and he quickly realized, wait a minute, he's too slow. He's not defensively sound, and he showed him no mercy. Terence Crawford noticed these things, made the right reads, and made it look easy. So much easy, in fact, that it made you question the fighter that Errol Spence Jr. was. Why? Here's a little question for you. Why didn't anybody else ever beat him? 99% of everybody else, he was better than them. That's how good Errol Spence Jr. was. So when you're starting to say, yo, he lost only to one man. It's the way he lost the fight. It's the way Terence Crawford made him look, and it was the situation he was in his life. He himself even admitted he wasn't living a boxer's lifestyle. The money had caught up to him, the crashes, the detached retinas, all that showed its ugly face on that night. And if you can be honest with yourself and admit that, then it's obvious he didn't fight that Errol Spence Jr., that version of him. And everyone judged him from the man that he once was, his name. And that's why it hurt so much. Because nobody wanted to accept the fact. And I was pointing it out. I was saying, yo, guys, I need you to recognize this. Even the boxing commission said inactive. 2 fights in 5 years. After that Ugas fight, look, Terence Crawford right now, he's just the best. He's just the best. And when you're the best and you're at the top, everyone's going to come for the throne. Especially when you're an old dog too. You know, Terence Crawford, I'm not going to say he's old dog by the sense that he's an old man, but he's been in the game for a long time with 41 plus fights, you know? That's what I mean. I don't think that he showed that any signs of him losing a step. I think his fighting style, and he has just enough to compete with Jaron Boots Ennis. I believe Jaron Boots Ennis is a very highly skilled, talented. He has a unique style. And he definitely understands what's going on in there. You know, I've personally watched a few of his fights. One of his fights in particular, when it was in the bubble, when his dad was talking to him, it was so quiet that you could actually hear the corner. And he told his dad, yo, I got him. Boom! And dropped him. It speaks to his ring IQ. He knows what's going on. And you ever notice that the really high skilled guys can hear what's going on outside of the ring and still stay focused? Like the sloppy ones hear and get caught. Like Floyd used to have conversations. Tank does it, right? And I for some eerie reason, it's like all their senses are on high alert while they're fighting. And they're able to like do shit. Like, I'm like, how the hell is Floyd having a conversation with the dude in the second chair in the row and evading? Like, no, he ain't. No, he's not. Like, and doing his job. It wasn't like he was evading, getting caught, knocked out, doing stupid shit. Then that means you weren't good at it, right? No, these guys were like, and Jaron Boots Ennis did that same shit. He knew exactly what his corner said. He said an answer, a rebuttal, and came up with the solution. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know, most guys got to hear it and still stay focused. Like, okay, you're listening to it, but you want to stay in the game, right? You know what? These dudes is having conversations, sending text messages, an emo, emoji, you know what I mean? And knocking the dude out, you know? But yeah, man, these are the kind of moves that you're gonna start to see in boxing. The Tank Davis move, the David, the Monster Benavidez move now to 175. These are these kind of moves. And Canelo Alvarez, right? I told you guys, and I just want to remind you about this. Wasn't it just yesterday or the day before yesterday? I was on a live and I said, I know a few names for Canelo, but I didn't want to come out and say it, right? And the guy typed in the name for me. I still didn't repeat it, right? Then all of a sudden, look what's going on again right now. Look what's going on with him right now again. The name's about to change. I told you. I don't, not until like contracts officially get sent over. Yo, I really think he might be fighting the other Charlo twin. I'm trying to tell you. The Charlo twin, yo, you know how he's all over, he's not in his right space. He gets on Twitch and types in, see you guys May 4th. That's a dead giveaway. Like, what? So the Charlo twins' next fight is scheduled May 4th. He himself twitched it. But everybody else is saying, no, it's this guy. It's this guy. I don't, fuck, man. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, whatever, man. But look, guys, I'm going to go on later. I know it's real early. I just wanted to drop a video. I was just going to make a regular video, but just in case you guys had a lot of comments to talk, I didn't expect a lot of people to be up. But I just wanted to throw that out. You know what I mean? Throw that out there, you know? What up, Adam? I'm not sure if he wants to fight the Charlo twin because of that, because mind you, the Charlo twin would have to be coming up to fight him at 168. That's another fight also where that he doesn't defend his own belt, the WBC title that he has. He has mandatories for his title. And let's just keep it in mind. Just because he fought Benavidez, Jose Benavidez moved up in weight. They fought at a catch weight. He didn't fight him at his regular 160-pound weight to defend the WBC world title. So how long is the WBC going to put up with his shit? And are they starting to see the smoke coming from his side, right? So if he's not defending his own belt, he would have to be fighting for Canelo's belts, Jamal Charlo, right? Would he get stripped of his belt like his brother did when his brother fought him? They stripped his brother for the WBO title because he fought Canelo Alvarez. That wasn't his mandatory. He was obligated to fight Tim Tszyu. When they gave Tim Tszyu step aside money for that he could fight to unify all the belts, he came out into a draw against the Mexican. So they ran it back. So Tim Tszyu was sitting on the shelf again. And then after that, he breaks his hand. Then they extend it and give him more time. After his hand heals, he goes and fights Canelo Alvarez. And then comes on and tells the world, oh, this ain't fair. They're always hating on the brother man. Blah, 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 blah. No. You got the paperwork. They told you, and you still took the money fight. You sacrificed the WBO because you figured if they take my belt, I'll just go back down and fight Tim Tszyu and get my belt back. And then you would have to recrown him 2 times in one division 4-belt holder because he had all 4 belts. You took it away. You went and got it back. You got to give him that title, the name, and write it down in history that he did that twice in the same division. So the storyline was there set for him. Out of the loss with Canelo, all he had to do was go down and fight. And how did we get here? How did we get fucking here? Now he got 2 belts. They stripped the 2 of them, gave one to this guy. The other one's vacant. Like, he's smacking his girl on social media, bragging about it. Hasn't been in the ring since the loss where he blimped up. Now that fucks with your career. Because now you blimped up your body all the way up there to fight that man. Now you got to come back down to your own. That's going to take some. You don't got a magic wand where you go back in shape, back in 154-pound shape. Bling! That's going to take time. Guess who that affects? You, your career, your money, Jermell Charlo. But these are all things he didn't think about. He just saw that huge carrot, Canelo Alvarez, and he went and played his game. And he gave it Canelo Alvarez. He gave Canelo Alvarez the excuse he needed not to fight David the Monster Benavidez. Have Jermell Charlo mind his business when he called his older brother and said, you know what, I'm not going to entertain that shit neither. And not fight him, what other opponent he would have picked? You know, he probably got another tomato can, but just, that's not your business. That caused Jermell Charlo so much, fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez. He got that money. It cost him 2 titles, a loss on his record, on his professional boxing record, because that's a loss. Watching you in front of your family with that kind of performance and what your fans thought of you on that night, everything he did was a loss. And that was fucking stupid, bro, when you think about it. Yeah, it wasn't worth the money. He could have made that much money in just 2 fights and probably a little bit more than what they paid him to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. And he still could have been a decorated champion. Quiet as kept, he would have went down in history as one of the men that successfully defended all 4 belts. He gave up that opportunity to go fight Saul Canelo Alvarez as well, because now they stripped him of his belts. Once he achieved his dream of getting all 4 belts, you mean to tell me that's when you wanted a party and you never defended them? So you went and got them, but never solidified your championship by defending them. These young men sometimes they got the game fucked up in their head. They chasing the wrong things. And that's what I talk about, how they portray our fighter. Oh, money, 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 bro. They allured him with that. And that one fight actually fucked up his career. It fucking altered his trajectory of where he should be at as a champion had he just minded his own fucking business and not for Saul Canelo Alvarez. That had nothing to do with him. Saul Canelo Alvarez was fishing for an opponent to save him, so that he didn't have to fight that monster. And you fucking helped him bail them out. And it cost you all that, Jermell Charlo. That was fucking dumb, bro. I feel that Jermell has a opportunity to fight. So. Look, listen, brother. That storyline and that version of that Charlo twin is gone. Not when you're getting smacked by Caleb Plant and you're on videos and making fucking videos, drunk as fuck, calling that version of him is gone. You're doing the same thing they did to Errol Spence Jr. You're still judging him the fighter that he once was and the man that he once was. And being the fact that he is the better out of the 2 Charlo twins, that's what you're banking on. And I'm here to try to tell you that man is not here. That version of the man you're speaking of, he is not here. He's been calling him out for 2 years. Had he fought him in that span, I would say yes. I would say yes. You know what? Charlo's been calling him out. Let's see him back him up now. That's not the same Charlo that's in front of us today. Canelo knows that, and he's using that storyline to be like, yo, remember when you calling my name? I'm here now. What's up? I offered you to fight. Your little brother took it. Now why won't you take it? He's trying to bait him. He's doing the same thing he did to the little brother. And the little brother should have never went messing into that business. It is the same ploy. And this Charlo should not take. Do you know why he's taking it? Because he's broke. He broke. He needs the money. And he's going to go out there and he's going to get knocked out and he's going to destroy his legacy. And Saul Canelo Alvarez would have destroyed both twin brothers' careers and gave them both losses and fought both of them in unfair advantages. He didn't fight the first little brother in his weight class. He blimped him up, right? And he's not fighting the other brother when he was at his best. Canelo knew when to fight wounded ducks. And he came in and slid in the right situation and put this one in a situation he couldn't lose. And he's putting this one in a situation he can't win. Can I get some likes in here? God, I'm giving you fucking shit. Man, listen. Oh, man. Canelo, they not stupid. They're not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Listen, they're fucking masters at this shit. His management and his handlers, Canelo Alvarez, they know how to pick fighters. The only fucking era, if you didn't notice, that happened was Demetrius Bivol. The reason why that was an era, let's just pay attention to when it happened. It was during the time he was leaving Oscar de la Hoya and signing with the PBC. Y'all remember? Right? It was that time that Canelo neither had the protection of Golden Boy and didn't have their new protection. It was when he was at his most vulnerable that they fucked around and didn't study the right opponent and they picked Demetrius Bivol and it backfired. That is the only cherry pick for him that went wrong, right? I said Floyd, we all knew Floyd was going to whoop him anyway. But yeah, you see? And it was during that time. That was the opponent in between the time he was leaving Golden Boy. And then after the loss, Golden Boy said, come back to the winning side. Remember? And everybody was like, oh, look what he's saying, right? Come on, man. Right? So you see, they're good at that. They know exactly when to attack. And it's true, bro. It's true. Listen, count on your hand how many months we are away from May right now. From today. Ask yourself this one question. Come up with that answer. I know the answer. I want you to come up with it. Come up with the answer, right? And then just think about this. Wasn't homeboy just on a live drunk as fuck? How much in shape is he? The other Charlo twin. Where is he at in his head? You mean to tell me that a fighter that's supposed to be in training camp right now is constantly drunk on social media? And he's making out these tweets? And he's ready? He's gonna be ready. No, because he's gonna turn it around tomorrow. He's going to turn it around tomorrow. Canelo and them, they know. He's got a PR team. They got a street team type shit. And they're constantly checking on this man. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to, so don't be surprised if that's Canelo Alvarez's next opponent for May 4th, people. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that fight is going to end up bad for Jamal in many ways. Who said that it? Well, did anybody say that he's going to win here? Did I miss something? Well, bro, if he looks that crazy, his first. Yo, listen, he does look that crazy. Look, guys, understand what took place in that phone call before people try to say that that wasn't crackhead behavior. That's not crackhead behavior. This kid runs a stream, right? And he talks about fighters and all kinds of shit. He gaming, all kinds of shit, right? He's a younger gentleman. He's probably in his 20s, right? He had interviews with Javante Davis, Devin Haney. Okay. So the Charlo twin decides to call up his show. He didn't call Jamal Charlo. You understand? He called him and he told him over the phone, why don't you give me and my man the bag? You heard the recording. Why don't you give me and my man the bag? Someone else is with him, fucked up with him, right? He giggling. Look at the kid's reaction and how uncomfortable he was in the video when he said, why don't you pay me for this interview? What interview? You mean the interview you're calling me on? I never called you to set an interview with you. And then he tells them, you need to pay me now. So why don't you send me some money right now? And the kid says, I never paid Javante Davis or Devin Haney. They did it for free. He said, yeah, but I'm not them. What you mean you're not them? So you're insinuating that you're a bigger star than Devin Haney and Tank Davis? Bro, you gotta be drunk. And then he proceeds to tell the dude, right? The kid says, well, I don't got money like that. And he says, well, I'm not asking for a whole lot of money. Now you're begging for the money. You're you're like, now you're at the point where you're saying, well, give me anything. The middleweight champion of the world is calling someone's podcast requesting money and that you send it right now to me for an interview I just called your show and I'm forcing onto you and I'm asking you to pay for it for me to talk to you. That ain't no crackhead shit. Where do they do that at? Bro, I'm gonna start calling up radio stations and just, yo, Shannon Sharp, check this out. I think you need to talk to me. But before we do, why don't you send me that bag right now? No, 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 right now. And yeah, you got to pay me for this interview, Shannon. What do you think he would say to me? Bro, I can see if the kid called him and was trying to get an interview and he said, you know what? Nah, bro, you're going to have to pay me. Then that would be up to him because the kid's seeking him out. You don't call the show and demand money. Bro, that's a bad look. And then people, they're going to want you just to ignore that. Ignore that, sweep that. There's no smoke here. There's no smoke when his girlfriend was on social media a few years ago yelling, his career's over. And everybody was wondering why. Why are you saying his career's over? He'll never fight again. He'll never be the same. Why? Smoke, smoke. Nah, ignore. Don't, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Jamal Charlo, what are you doing on TV? His hair's like this. I'm out here in the desert with Roy Jones. Why? Because I needed time away because of mental problems and I had to leave my hometown. You mean to tell me you had to leave the house, your family, and the people you're around? Why? If you have mental health issues, you don't leave your house and go to another state. You go get help. You go to a hospital or to wherever it is to go get mental health. You don't go to another house in a mountain. That's not therapy by yourself. You're escaping something. You're running from something if you're doing that. If you had mental issues, why weren't your next words were, I'm seeing a psychologist, I'm working through these problems. You could have did that at home. Why would you have to leave your house? You guys got to read through this shit and see the smoke. This young man has been in trouble for a long time. And he's probably been asking for help, but he doesn't know how to control this shit. And it's fucking destroying his life. And unfortunately, I'm starting to see the smoke and I'm thinking the next time, man, we're going to see the rise and fall of this young man. And it's unfortunately, man, I wish him the best. Man, I hope he comes to his senses. And even if it takes another year out of his career, so fuck it. Even if they strip him of the belt, fuck it. Take care of yourself. And then if you want to come back to the sport, come back. He's still young. He's only 33. He's going on 34, right? So, he might have a tail end couple more fights, but he needs to really like a soul search, because there's something else going on there. You don't leave your house. You don't do all this other shit if it ain't for a reason. You could do that at home. If I was, bro, I'll schedule me an appointment and me, my wife and kids and family around me will address it. That's not what's going on. But anyway, what do I know? Listen, fight fans, I love you guys. Let me, whoa, bro. What's up, Rob? How you doing, brother? Nah, bro. It does. It is makes sense. It does make sense. All right. He'll block the call. And Shannon Sharp would block my call on the spot. Hell yeah, he would. Yeah, hell yeah. What crazy individual calling me here requesting money? No matter if I was a superstar or not. That's like if Mike Epps called Shannon Sharp and told him, yo, I'll talk to you about our little situation, but you got to pay me right now. I didn't call you, Mike Epps. You called me. And you're going to ask me to pay the. Go fuck yourself, bro. Yo, it's not a good look for the young man. And then I dare you guys, after I get off this video with you guys, go check out the interview. If you haven't, Alan Ross, that's the kid's name. Okay. And they have the interview. Yo, bro, it's hard to listen to. Yo, I was embarrassed when I was listening to it. Like I was like cringing over here, like, nah, this is not the middleweight champion of the world doing this. I'm like, and then I'm thinking back, he got smacked in the face by Caleb Plant. He didn't do shit. Nothing. What? His girl gets on, what? He leaves what? This, what? You see, the world didn't pay attention to Errol Spence Jr., and he had a bunch of yes men in his corner. They didn't pay attention to that young man until he flipped that car over. And even then, he got into another one. They're not taking care of these young men. They have to have people in their life that are real with them and that are not yes men and that take the keys away from him. He should have had the right people in his corner that night and would have not allowed him to get into that car. But when you surround yourself by a bunch of yes men, yes, champ, yes, champ, here's your yes, champ, yes, champ, that's what happens. We all need people or that friend in our life that when things are getting out of control and your head's getting that big, you need that mother or sister or brother or whoever to bring you back down, to remind you, yo, you're just little Edwin. You know what I'm saying? You're just little, whoever. I remember you when you used to pick your nose. You know what I mean? Like, You know, don't let this shit get to your head. You're just a man. You're just a man. You're just a man. All right, fight fans. Love you guys here at Round One Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in, chopping it up with me. I always love being your host, Edwin, here at Round One Sports Talk. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, click the notification icon, and if you just go to your settings and you click the notification icon, you won't miss any episodes that I put out. So, love you guys. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace. All right, my man. You know I always got you, baby. You my man, dog. You always here. All right. Love you guys.